Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Speaker. And I, like many colleagues across the House, agree that we are in a climate emergency and that we should act accordingly. Somerset County Council and other councils around the South West have already taken the lead in this, and I'm glad that around the country other councils and now hopefully the government will follow suit. Earlier on today, the Right Honourable Gentleman from Doncaster North gave a very, very good speech in which he spoke about the responsibility that we have in this place for leadership, for honesty and for persuasion over the challenge that lies in front of us. And it reminded me, Madam Deputy Speaker, of a TV series that many colleagues around here will have gorged on, I'm sure, The West Wing, when there's an episode around 10-word answers. And this is a climate emergency and we must act now is a 10-word answer. It's the easy bit. We can all say that and mean it and want very genuinely to do something about it. But the bit that comes next is hugely challenging, and that's where we've got to start having the conversation with our constituents. The Right Honourable Lady, the Honourable Lady, the Shadow Secretary of State for Business and Industrial Strategy, has some great ideas on this, but at the weekend I saw her on television talking about subsidies for fossil fuels. Well, what she means in that, if you look at the EU's accounting of it, and that was the study she was referring to, is things like 5% VAT on heating fuel. She means the foregone taxation that has been the refusal to implement the motoring fuel escalator. Now, if you count those as subsidies, if you say that that is a subsidy for fossil fuel, fine. We have got to tackle those as issues. We use fossil fuels too much for heating. We use fossil fuels too much for transport. But let's not pretend that in that line, subsidy for fossil fuels, there are not enormous challenges about which we must be honest with our constituents. From that comes the whole issue of boiler and car scrappage and how we do that in a socially just way, because invariably those who are least able to replace their boiler, those who are least able to replace their car, are the ones who are driving the cars that are the most polluting or who are using the boilers that are the least efficient. It's a hugely difficult challenge about which we must have an honest discussion. So too the requirement to bring about carbon capture and storage, or to look at hydrogen as a means for allowing our heavy industry to continue. We've got to be honest about the costs of doing that, but also the advantages too. Time, Madam Deputy Speaker, prohibits me to go through a whole list of things that I think that we can, as a Parliament, across the House, lead on, where we can sell a vision of a life that is better, a vision of a life that is more comfortable, a vision of a life that is more sustainable. But we won't do it if we jump on easy-to-grab sound bites, like, for example, subsidy on fossil fuels, and then pretend that to eradicate those subsidies does not bring with it a profound cost of living challenge. Madam Deputy Speaker, the challenge is enormous. We must stand together.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. It's a pleasure to follow the honourable gentleman.